These are the Backrooms, an endless labyrinth infested with skulk enemies and no way out. At least for now. In today's video, I'm planning my escape. I need 12 eyes to open the way home, and I'll get them by turning simple things like chairs and carpet into automated factories. We'll craft tools, explore the endless maze, and eat silverfish? Is that right? Join me as we survive the Modpack, Liminal Industries. Well, I gotta say, they definitely nailed the Backrooms look. This thing just goes on for what I'm guessing is forever. Oh my god, there's actually variation in the room types too. This is insane. Got a random tree over here. You have a random room with a cardboard house and some boxes. And to top it off, I'm trapped here. I can't break the walls, I can't escape through the ceiling, I can't break through the floor. We're stuck. So what are we supposed to do here? We gotta mine the chairs. That's right. The only way to get wood is to break furniture. You gotta take the furniture, put them in your crafting interface, and break them down into blanks. And to celebrate, we're gonna use this confetti popper. Alright, we have a basic set of tools here. A pickaxe, a knife, and a cutting board. So it turns out that with a knife, we can actually cut through the carpet. And with the pickaxe, we can't break through the floor, but we can take off chunks of concrete. On top of that, we have an item called cut carpet. You know, the carpet we tore from the ground. Not entirely sure what we can do with this. Oh, I guess we get string. And with the string, we can make a brush. And with the brush, we can sweep this filthy carpet to get enemies, along with some nasty dust. Get away from me. Silverfish eggs? And we can eat them! Well, when in Rome. So with the pieces of concrete, we can craft ourselves a furnace. I don't know what that is. I was crafting the essentials and that started playing. Now that we've crafted ourselves a furnace, we're gonna move back up the progress tree to make something new, a bag. No brainer. Now to make a bag, we're gonna need wallpaper. And to get wallpaper, all we have to do is scrape the walls with an axe. 7 paper and a string will give you 1 sack. Oh, 9 extra inventory slots. And last but not least, we need a means of collecting water. There are pieces of damp carpet which we can blot with sponges to get water. And with that, we have a sponge. So all we gotta do is find some damp carpet and then we'll have access to water. What is that? Can we touch it? Oh my god, that almost gave me a heart attack there. I need food really badly, and all I've eaten are silverfish eggs. I hope there's something in this house. Thank god there's a chest in there. Please be food. 17 cardboard. So if we're gonna feed ourselves, then we have to sweep the dirt. I have 4 silverfish eggs. If I eat them on their own, it's only gonna give me half a hunger. If I combine them in a bowl, I get weird caviar, which gives me 2.5. Alright, here's to the back rooms. Okay, we have a sense of newfound purpose. We can get food, which means we can keep building. And that is wet carpet, just what we were looking for. Alright, let's pull out the sponges here. And simple as that. Perfect. So we have a couple of wet sponges. How exactly do we take the water out? Well, to utilize the water, we're gonna have to make a propeller. With this tool, we can use the fan to blow the moisture right out of the sponge. Check it out. And it actually works, that's insane. Circuit breaker. No, that's a hard no. No. I'm gonna go now. I mean, I took a pickaxe to a circuit breaker. What was I expecting? Also, don't try that at home. Kinda curious to see what's down here. This may be a bad idea, but who knows? Maybe we'll find something great. And there is what appears to be a sign with a skull. I can't help myself. I know there's a sign that says not to go, but I'm gonna go anyway. And to be honest, it looks like the sign was misleading, because all there is another brown sofa, which I guess means laziness can kill. So I'm just gonna go ahead and help myself. Caution. So is the caution back there? And if that's the case, what is that supposed to be, a bug? You know, I'm beginning to notice that the signs are getting more and more, how should I put it, cautionary the further we progress. Turn back. Oh my god, this is the most narrow passageway I've been through yet. Warning. What does that say? Turn out? Turn around? Padded wall. It's a TV. And it actually works. Oh, I like this channel. There's nothing in this room. It's a padded cell like the one you'd find at an asylum. I'm gonna take this TV. You know what I can't take? Your like or your hype. That you gotta give to me. please like and hype this video if you've made it this far. That way I can keep making more. Okay, I think we're gonna set up shop here in the trampoline room. There is plenty of space to build whatever it is we gotta do, and now we can start making the fan. Alright, we'll set up shop right here. 1 stick, 4 planks, that gives you the propeller blade. Next I gotta go ahead and craft a barrel, and then all I have to do is click the propeller onto the barrel. Alright, so we have the encased fan right here. I added this hand crank in the back, and when I turn the crank, as you can see, we have some nice airflow coming from the fan. When I add the wet sponge, spin the fan, and now it's blowing water. Isn't technology amazing? So we have our essentials, we have our encased fan. With that, we're about halfway through the chapter, so let's make some clay. So to get clay, we have to wash this dust that we've been collecting. Toss the carpet dust, and then from there, we just turn the fan and we let it wash. So not only did we get clay, but am I seeing seeds in there too? We got strawberry seeds. On top of that, we got 30 clay balls. This is a pretty big deal because with the clay, we can actually make a bucket, which we're gonna cook in our furnace, which leaves us with a ceramic bucket, which when we add with the wet sponge, gives us a bucket of water. This is great. Infinite water. And as a reward for making liquid water, we get an axolotl plushie. So now we'll only be slightly less lonely. We're gonna have to start farming with these strawberry seeds. Let's get to farming, because honestly, I'm getting a little sick and tired of these silverfish eggs. So we have 2 options, strawberries and sweet berries. To grow these, they need a decent light source, and while we have some light down there, I think they're too far from the actual lamps themselves. We have to take a wet sponge, click the carpet, and now that it's converted into damp carpet, we can plant the seeds. And now we have a little berry farm. Now the strawberries are a little trickier. They have to grow directly underneath a light source, so I think this will work. Hopefully we'll have strawberries pretty soon because they're supposed to be able to heal you when you eat them. Alright, so we've planted our berries and now let's go ahead and claim the rewards. Hanging lights and a lunch basket. Please let there be food in this lunch basket. Of course, it's empty. I wonder what these hanging lights look like. Oh my god, that's actually really cool. Hold on a minute. That is so cool! Wait, we're gonna use this for our berry farm. Our berries now have light to grow. Perfect. As you can see, the strawberries took an instant liking to it because this thing is growing. And of course, I'm gonna add some lights over here to our setup. That way, this place looks a little less mundane. Oh my god! That freaked me out. There's elasticity to these connecting lights. I thought they were unlimited. Guess that's not the case. Okay, well, that's good enough. Okay, so the berries are growing. What's the next thing we want to do? Well, we want to make some chalk. It's a pretty simple crafting recipe of clay and some dust. The reason you want chalk is because, well, in the back rooms, things just happen to look pretty similar. So this is a great way to mark your way back. Put a heart there. You can't really see that all that well, though. Oh, there's different colors. Perfect, so we'll put some red markers right here to say that this is home. Now, if we get lost, we can find our way back home, right there. We have a ton of chalk, so we're gonna go ahead and put them in our chalk box. That way we don't waste inventory space. They thought of everything in this pack, I love it. Speaking of love, look at that! Our little berry bush is finally grown, and now we can enjoy some delicious sweet berries. That's much better than this disgusting weird caviar. Yeah, eating them right off the bat was a bad idea. Probably should have saved the berries and replanted them, but we're gonna hold on to that for now. Alright, it's time to get serious. We have water, we have clay, and we have a furnace. We're gonna combine all 3 of these things to make something new. An alloy kiln. It's basically a slightly bigger furnace. We're gonna need lots and lots of clay. I smelted the clay into bricks. Did a few bounces on the trampoline while I waited for the bricks to cook. Then I crafted them into kiln blocks. Alright, we have our kiln bricks right here. Let's go ahead and set this up. Now we have to combine them into one structure. To do that, we're going to have to craft an engineer's hammer. Once you have the hammer, all you do is click the structure, right? But there it is, the alloy kiln. As you can see, our setup is really coming together. Basic crafting and storage, a sanitary water source, a squishy friend, and now an alloy kiln, which we're going to use to make lava. All we need are 64 pieces of concrete. Oh boy. Well, I better get mining. Okay, it's as simple as adding the concrete in there with a ceramic bucket. Alright, so what we have here is not a bucket of lava, it's heated concrete. To turn it into a bucket of lava, we have to put it into a furnace and cook it even more. And now we have a bucket of lava. I've never been so happy to see lava, but I think I just made a fatal mistake. I didn't know the bucket was gonna break. Can I scoop it up? Yes, I can. Okay, now we know. Waterlog some spruce stairs. Perfect. We've just entered the age of cobblestone. And with all of this, I conclude the end of Chapter 1. Now that we've completed Chapter 1, we are one more step closer to escaping the backrooms. I think this merits a little celebration. We have a lot to do if we're gonna get through this mod pack, so we better get started. Oh my god, I almost died. Alright, it's time to get some cobblestone. Stop burning in the lava! Alright, so I got 40 cobblestone, and on top of that, our strawberries have finally grown. And they just healed 1 heart. Not bad at all. This is a superfood. It's time to dive into Chapter 2. There are 3 tasks we have to accomplish, the first of which is making a petal apothecary. With this, we'll be able to make magical flowers that will somehow help us on our backrooms journey. The next step is to get ashes, and to do that we have to craft a flint and flint, the backrooms equivalent of a flint and steel. There's a 10% chance for flint to drop, so I think our odds are okay. So we got our 2 pieces of flint, which gives us a flint and flint, and now all we have to do is burn something. The only problem is that the wallpaper and the carpet, they're fire resistant, so they're not going to burn into ash. But you know what does burn? Cardboard. All we have to do is burn the cardboard that we collected from that one weird house, and eventually it should burn into ash. There it is. And now we have ash. Perfect. We'll go ahead and burn the rest of this, and hopefully we will have more than enough ash for our needs. I just noticed we can make cardboard armor. This is a game changer. I think I'm gonna have to go out and find some more, because I carelessly used the last of it to make armor. Alright, it's time for our first expedition out into the backrooms. Let's go. And that is so that we can find our way back. I found a microwave, and it has no power. We're taking this. There is something going on over here. This chair is just spinning on a turntable. Look at that. This is different. Whoa, we have a courtyard down here. Everything about this screams bad news. And this room is an entire dedicated aquarium. And what would happen if I tried to swim in that water? Oh, there we go. Cardboard, right? There is something going on over there. Arrows and gunpowder. Think that means there's a threat on the other side of that wall, because there are weapons here. We are taking the TNT. And cannonballs? Okay, I don't know what we're gonna use cannonballs for, but I think we can probably melt them down for later. Bombs. And a spyglass. And more crossbows. Okay. A microwave and a scary looking block. And a spider. A skulk spider. Okay. That's obviously a spawner. And a skulk creeper. And he sees me. We're not gonna break this cardboard. I think this cardboard is good where it is. Although we will take this one. We just went in a circle. There's our arrow over there. Run! Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh, there's so many of them. Fine, fight! Oh, they hurt, they hurt, they hurt, they hurt, they hurt, they hurt. Have a heart, have a heart, have a heart. Oh my god. They're still following. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Blocks. Oh, they're still there! Oh my god. Those guys are serious bad news. Massive aggro range because they are I don't know how far I had to go and they're still behind me. Okay, I'm gonna put some distance between myself and them. Hopefully they despawn. Okay, we're back here. I think this is far enough. It's time. Are they gone? I think they're gone. Man, that was close. On top of that, I lost my bag. I have to go back and find it. Okay, this right here is a no-go. We are going to mark this as the death zone. There it is, thank God. Tried exploring the back rooms. Worst mistake of my life. But we got what we needed. Plenty of cardboard. I'm gonna go ahead and make the rest of that cardboard armor. Not that I think it'll help, but it just makes me feel a little bit better. There we go. A whopping 2 armor points. Okay, let's get some ash. So now that we have ash, it's time to make a new item with it. An andesite alloy. Psych, this is an ash alloy. And to make it, we have to combine ash with cobblestone. This is probably the least expensive andesite alloy recipe I've ever come across in any mod pack. Okay, we have 22 ash alloys. Perfect. And as a reward, we get a create mod wrench. Let's go. Now that we have the alloys, we can move on to the next big task, getting endless charcoal. We're gonna have to make coke bricks using the alloys we made. On top of that, I have to smelt the ash into ash bricks. While we're waiting for those to cook, I'm a little worried that I'm gonna be chased by more enemies, so we're gonna install some nice little security measures. That way they can't get inside our inner core. There we go. As simple as that. Alright, the ash bricks are done. Perfect. The recipe for coke bricks is pretty simple. Cobblestone in the middle, 4 ash bricks, and 4 ash alloys. We finally have all the bricks to make our coke oven. With one click, we finally have a means of getting more fuel. I'll throw in an oak table, and now all we have to do is wait. Instant charcoal block. We have new fuel. The next thing I'm going to do is convert the charcoal into a new type of fuel. This is called coke coal. Basically charcoal 2.0. The reason I had to make the conversion was because we needed something called creosote oil. We'll take a scoop of the creosote oil, and now we're gonna upgrade our wooden planks into treated planks. Here it is, our treated planks. With these blocks, we'll be able to make infinite wood. That way we won't have to be burning up furniture all the time. But first we have to head to the right of the skill tree to work on Botania. The first task is to make floral fertilizer. One of the ingredients we'll need is yellow dye. And to get yellow dye, all we have to do is scrape the wallpaper off of the walls, toss it in front of the encased fan, and then you wash it. Because the wallpaper has a yellow tint on it, naturally it drops yellow dye. Plus, we have regular clean paper. The next step is arguably my favorite. We're gonna add water to the petal apothecary, convert some of these berries into seeds. Next, my favorite step, we're gonna drop 2 yellow dye, some ash, and lastly, some seeds. And with that, we have floral fertilizer, which we're gonna use to grow mystical flowers. I think we'll have a nice little flower garden out here. So the flowers are only gonna grow on wet carpet, go figure. So let's do that. Okay, I think this is good. Let's test this out. Look at that. They actually grew. We actually have colors now. Now that we got the mystical fertilizer, we can begin the next step, pure daisy. To make a pure daisy, all we need are 4 white petals and some seeds. Let's go ahead and add them to the apothecary and make a new flower. We're going to use this flower to convert our treated wood planks into something more. All we have to do is surround the flower with the planks, and now we wait. And there it is, the conversion of treated planks into living wood. It's not exactly a suitable replacement for regular wood. We're still going to have to go out and break furniture, but we do need it for some machines we're about to make. For example, combine the wood together with an ash alloy and you get a wooden hand. Next, we're going to need a lot of andesite casings. With these, we'll be able to make machine parts, like the deployer. This thing is going to be very useful. There are lots of contraptions you can make with the Create mod, but to do that, you need power. Steam power. We need to make a steam engine, the ultimate source of power that will bring our machines to life. As you can see, that is quite the laundry list of items we need, so we'll just take it back a few steps. One task at a time. The next one, crafting a burner. You can't have a steam engine unless you generate enough heat, and that's where the burner comes in. Now, frankly, I've never used this before, but I'm assuming that this is where some of the fire's gonna go to boil the water. We also got a wooden hopper. Don't know what this is for, but that's the reward for this machine. Next, we gotta craft another tool. This one is called a mechanical press, along with its basin. With a mechanical press, we'll be able to stamp and shape items in any shape or form that we need. It'll also give us copper. So let's make a press. All we gotta do is take a block of ash alloy, give it a nice click on a casing, and like that, we have ourselves one inactive mechanical press. And the basin is very simple to craft too. Ooh, we get pancakes as a reward. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really a pancake person, but for the sake of not starving to death, I will imbibe in one pancake for now. I think I used the word imbibe wrong. As you can see, many of these machines for the steam engine are made out of copper. So how exactly do we obtain that? We need to crush copper pipes, which also means I have to go outside again. Well, at least outside of our base. You may or may not remember that some of these rooms contain pipe systems. All I gotta do is backtrack and find them. Look at that, we found a new passage. Check it out, unexplored territory. And a lot of free stuff, don't mind if I do. Well, this is different. Stripped bamboo? Not what we're looking for, but I don't mind if I do. Alright, my axe is broken, but we will definitely be back here. Oh, perfect. Just what we needed. What is this? No way. We have the power to transform into a box? Oh my god, this is crazy. I love it. Does that mean I can go through 1-block gaps? It does. Look at that. We'll just take that off for now. And let's collect the pipes. Alright, this is what I was looking for. This is what I'm talking about right here. Oh, this is the jackpot. I can't mine it because I don't have stone. No! Alright, we have 41 copper pipes. I think that is plenty for now. So now that we have the copper pipes, we have to crush them into copper nuggets. But to do that, we need a heat source. As you can see, our basic burner is empty. There's no fire inside. That's because it's a burner without a blaze. For this kind of stuff, you usually use a blaze burner. But since this isn't the case, we have to do it the old-fashioned way. We're going to take this wooden hopper, place it next to the basic burner, put the basin on top, mechanical press right above that. For this demonstration, I'll throw in half of my stack, and now we'll throw in 1 Coca-Cola, and as you can see, and I think all I have to do is light a fire. Oh, that did it. Now to get this going, we better be getting copper nuggets. 24 copper nuggets. It's working! Alright, all we have to do is keep cranking this and we'll be ready to go. And with that, we have 13 copper ingots. Now that we have this delicious copper, we're gonna have to mold it into the items we need to make the steam engine. First up, the fluid tank. Alright, so I got my basic deployers set up right here. This is where we'll make our fluid tank. But first we have to make some copper casings. 4 of them to be exact. Next, we gotta take the copper that we have and flatten it into a copper sheet. And now that we have the copper sheets, put it in the hands of the deployer, activate the hand crank, and there we go, 4 fluid tanks. The next thing I have to craft is the steam engine itself. And here it is, the lovely steam engine. You just attach it to the side, and as you can see, our fluid tanks have taken a new form. They now have a little meter right here that indicates how much steam pressure is inside. Alright, we have everything we need. Now that we have all the components, all we have to do is assemble it. We'll put a basic burner at the bottom, fluid tank on top. Of course, the steam engine's gonna need a water source. Now, how do you get the water into the steam engine? Pipes. You need some pipes. Don't forget to change the flow of the water. And now, for the most important piece, the steam engine itself, which will power this machine. All we have to do is connect them. Okay, the setup is basically complete. All I have to do is add this hand crank here, add a little bit of fuel, and it should be good to go. So we'll just start with 1 coke just for this demonstration. Light it up. So we got the fire going, but nothing's happening. That's because you got to get the water flowing into the tank. So all I'm going to do is turn the crank to give it a nice little jump start. That should get the pump going. And there we go. The steam engine is alive. You can see the pressure being generated there. And because we completed the quest, they're going to give us some goggles. Oh, I love Create Mod goggles. Now we can actually analyze the power of our boiler. The only problem is that if we want this to continuously run, then we're going to have to keep supplying this fuel. Next, I have to collect a ton of carpet. We're going to take the carpet and use it to craft belts. Not the kind you wear around your waist. I'm talking about conveyor belts. There are so many purposes for conveyor belts, but in this case, we're just going to use it to connect the steam engine to our machines. I was just looking for more cardboard and then I heard a strange noise. Oh, yeah, we're just going to block this off. The heck was that? Oh my god! The furniture just started moving. Oh my god! No. That may have been what we heard. Is this a kitchen? Oh, this is like a bar. Okay, this is one of the stranger rooms I've ever been in. It's like nature's trying to phase into the back rooms. Witta de Groy? Yeah, sure, why not? Okay, right or left? Oh, not bad. Nope. Just so that we remember. Just a random plate in the hallway. Oh my god. What is this room? All plates. Wow. Alright, we're right where we want to be. We can afford to take some cardboard boxes away from this side, at least. Now that we have a steam engine, we need something colossal for it to power, like a pair of giant crushing wheels. One of the more expensive recipes for the Create mod, but well worth it. With these monsters, we'll be able to crush anything we need. Alright, we're gonna put the crushing wheels to the test. I have some cobblestone in my inventory. All you gotta do is just drop them in. As you can see, the cobblestone is being crushed and the gravel is coming out from the bottom. We got 10 gravel, but we're gonna crush it even further. What do you think you get when you crush gravel? If you guess sand, then you are correct. Now, why did we want sand? Because we're gonna grow sugarcane, of course. The sugarcane recipe is really simple. We'll throw in a bucket of water, some paper, a living wood twig, 1 green petal, and 1 lime petal. Then you throw in some seeds, and like that, we've just introduced sugarcane to the backrooms. Alright, we'll place a bucket of water, and then our sugarcane, and now we wait. This is gonna take a while. Unless we grow the sugarcane on snad. That's right, snad. When you take sand and press it down, you get snad. I don't even know if we need a sugarcane farm. I think it's just way faster to break them and replant them because they just grow back instantly. I don't know about you guys, but building these machines, it really works up quite an appetite. And these sweet berries, well, they're not really filling. But now that we've created sugarcane, we can use it to make something better. Liminal jam. By combining a couple sweet berries with some sugar, we can create a jam that's a little more filling than the average sweet berry. The first thing I'm going to do is craft a cooking pot. From there, you're going to want to craft a campfire, place the cooking pot on top of the campfire. Next, we're going to convert the sugarcane into sugar, and now it's time to combine. Alright, let's see what we have here. 22 jars of liminal jam. 23 now. Now we got some proper food, or I guess a beverage. Leave a comment if you think a jam is a food or a beverage. We got some small rewards here, like a coaster. Wonder what we can put on here. Oh, look at that. We can put jam, plus some sweet berry jam toast. I would kill for more sweet berry jam toast. The next task I did was prepare a ton of lava buckets. 10 lava buckets to be exact. This is because we're building a nether portal. With the nether portal, we can take shortcuts across the backrooms. And to make it, we're gonna have to use the old lava and water method. There it is, the nether portal frame. Now, seeing how this is a backrooms mod, I can't help but wonder what the nether's gonna look like. Is it gonna be the nether, or some weird backrooms variation? And it's, what is this? This is not what I was expecting at all. And to be honest, I'm a little worried about what I'm gonna find here. This place is insane. It's just towers of books as far as the eye can see. I mean, my render distance is low, but still, I'm assuming it all looks like this. Well, there won't be a shortage of books, that's for sure. We can break through the floor. There's red carpet underneath. Although that is indestructible. Okay, so there are a few reasons why we wanted to come here. Number 1, backpacks. We need leather, and to get leather, we're gonna have to break down all of these books. Reason number 2, quartz. We gotta collect a ton of this checkered floor, because once we have enough, we can crush it, and it'll drop quartz and black quartz. And finally, number 3. We need to find one of the lost eyes. This eye is one of 12, and if we're gonna escape the backrooms, we need all of them. We have a lot to do, so let's get started. We're gonna break up all of these books and get as many pieces of leather as we can. I think that's more than enough. Next, we gotta go ahead and craft a backpack, and as a reward, we get some backpack upgrades. Let's go ahead and upgrade this backpack to a copper backpack, and now we have a little more space. Next, we're gonna collect a ton of this checker floor stuff. I think that's plenty. We're gonna take the blocks and grind them up. And there is the product at the bottom. We've now unlocked quartz. And now we get this cool chessboard. Oh, look at that. That's so cool. No way it actually works. Oh my goodness, this actually works. Can you believe this? We're actually playing chess in Minecraft. I mean, that's probably not that big of a deal, but this is insane. Of the 3 tasks, we've accomplished 2, so it's time to finish what we started. So the eye could be on top of any one of these towers. It's a good thing we have a spyglass, that way we can save ourselves the trouble of having to climb. I think the strategy is to just walk in a straight line until we see it. Do you see what I see? There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one of the many eyes. 1 down, 11 to go. Now that we have the eye, we'll just go ahead and put it right there. The next thing we're going to do is make this new machine called a rolling mill. I attached it to the setup that we already have. Now we're going to take some copper sheets, toss them inside, and that's going to give us copper wire. I'm gonna go ahead and craft some treated slabs. We'll give copper wire to this guy and quartz to the other one. As you can see, they have them in their hands. Now all we have to do is add the treated wooden slabs, and as you can see, the hands are placing the parts onto the slabs, making us electronic components. And now that we have electronic components, we've nearly completed Chapter 2. There's only one more step. We have to build a smeltery. To make a smeltery, you need seared bricks, which is made from grout. And to get grout, that's a combination of sand, gravel, and clay. Lucky for you guys, I've already set some aside. So let's go ahead and combine these items. We now have a stack of grout. All I have to do now is wait. One aspect of this mod pack that I've been neglecting is photography. I guess photography plays a role in it somehow. And to get started with that, we have to craft a light room. Okay, so we have the light room. Let's go ahead and see what this is all about. There are a few options here, wow. We should probably start by claiming all of the rewards. We got a camera, black and white film, a water bottle, photograph frame, and some black dye. Everything a photographer needs in their arsenal. Check out this cool camera UI. You can even adjust the zoom. That is so cool. So we're gonna put some film into the camera. Let's go take a test picture. Okay, let's see if we can figure this out. You can even follow the rule of thirds. Oh, I think we just took a photo. So now we have to develop the photo, I think. Can I take a selfie? We can take a selfie. Oh, I took two, actually. I didn't mean to do that. Let's take one with our setup back here. The first Minecraft selfie on Doublesal. Alright, so we got the film out. Let's go ahead and process these photos. This is going to give you a developed black and white film. Okay, so this is where we have to use the Lightroom. We'll develop our photos here. We'll put a piece of paper there and some black dye here. Oh, you can actually see the negatives. Look at that. That's so cool. Let's go ahead and process this now. Each piece of film requires its own paper and dye. Let's see what we're working with here. Okay, so the cube was probably not the best subject to take a photo of. Not a lot going on there. But this... You know what? This isn't that bad. That's a good picture. I don't want to sound a little vain, but that is a handsome photo. And they gave us some frames. That way we can always remember these precious moments. Ooh, that's a big frame. Oh, just like that! I think we just found a way to brighten the backrooms a little. Although I wish I had more interesting subjects to capture. Well, that was a fun little adventure. Alright, let's get back to work. We have to build a smeltery, and to do that there are a few components I have to craft. The first block we have to make is the brains of the operation, the smeltery controller. Next a seared fluid tank, a faucet, and finally a casting table. Okay, we have all of the items we need down here. Now we have to assemble it. Okay, it's done. All we have to do is add the table and the drain. I kinda don't like how it's just floating like that though. There we go, that's better. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce that we have finally completed Chapter 2. Which means we can start the monster that is Chapter 3. We got some cool rewards like another party popper, a music disc, a fridge, and an iron golem plushie. Add this plushie over here to the Hall of Fame. And as for this fridge, well, we don't have food, but we could always get more. Okay, friends, let's celebrate the end of Chapter 2. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little worried about what's ahead in Chapter 3, but I think we have it down already. The backrooms are not as bad as I thought they'd be. Plus, with the help of all of our machines, we are going to be set. Chapter 3 heavily focuses on automation. The first thing we have to do in this chapter is gather brand new resources, like the much-missed iron ingot. But how do we get iron? The answer is simpler than you think. We gotta melt down a fridge. Well, not just fridges, any appliances for that matter. Throughout the backrooms, I've seen random fridges and stoves and cast iron pans. If we can get our hands on some of those, then we can melt them down and get iron. Ah, this is just what I was looking for. With one stove, we can melt it down and get one iron block. Oh yeah, we better go find more. Oh, we finally made it back here. Collect that copper along with the stove. I wonder if we can melt down TVs as well. As a matter of fact, we can. One TV gives us silver. Don't mind if I do. I don't like that one bit. Oh, I definitely don't like that. Do we go further? That's definitely bait. Yeah, we're not gonna go that way. That's a glitch. What the? It's a working escalator. Oh my god. Actually, I think we can use this to our advantage. Let's see how much of a serious threat they are when they can't attack me. Not bad. I'm somewhat inspired to use the camera, so we're gonna start taking photos of very strange things. Okay, where are these escalators gonna take us? Okay. That's interesting. I've never seen that before. Is that supposed to be wet carpet? Despite that, we found a fridge. Kinda tempted to go down there and see what it's all about, but you know what? It's probably death. But what kind of explorer would I be if I didn't try? If there's monsters down there, we'll hear them before we get to the bottom. I guess we'll just jump. Crude oil. There's oil here? That's a friendly sun. What the? Wait. That's a thing? No way. We can actually... Some of the blocks are fake. They're illusionary walls. And that is just a box of bedrock. Hold on, the back room just got super interesting again. Is this fake too? No, this is real. You know what? That's gonna make me wonder now how much of what we're seeing is actually there. Yeah, I still can't get over this. This is so cool. Let's go. Okay, what is going on here? I guess we're at a beach or something. We have a cooler, we have some beach chairs, and the beautiful horizon with clouds and a sunset. Fitting. That's so funny. The carpet is soggy because it's supposed to be the ocean. Look at that. This is my attempt to press my ear against the wall. That's a warden. Yeah, this was definitely a very interesting section. Well, only one more direction to go, and that is this way. And all we have is a toast! Oh my god! Oh! Okay, I wasn't anticipating that I'd be able to phase through the floors. I mean, that's classic backrooms, but it still caught me off guard. Now I'm wondering where it's not safe to step, and there's no way to distinguish solid from transparent floor. Don't tell me we're stuck. Oh no. We may have a slight dilemma. I can't climb back up. How are we gonna get out of this? It's the perfect trap. Okay, wait. What if I try this? What if I try this? Will this still cut the carpet? No way. Ha 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 ha! It worked! Thank goodness that's a thing. I thought the playthrough was over. I seriously did. Okay, so as long as we leave this ladder here, the carpet will regenerate, but around the ladder, because the carpet grows back, so does the wallpaper, if you don't know. With that, let's press onward. The texture's broken, so I'm not sure what this is supposed to be, but it's just called divided by 0. Now, if I break the circuit breaker, the lights are gonna go out. The plus side is that we can melt it down for 2 blocks of gold. Almost 3, actually. I mean, that's just a steal. I can't. I'm taking it. A classroom? What is that? And you can draw on it. No way. Hold on. There. A smile. Emergency, 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 emergency. Oh my god. Shoot, I should have taken the crossbows. Okay, I have these bombs. Oh my god! Bad idea. Bad idea. Okay, well, at least we're back. That's kind of what I wanted. Alright, let's make some medals. Our journey totaled us 2 television sets, 6 light stoves, a light fridge, and a circuit breaker. All we gotta do is melt them down, and then we'll have medals. Alright, let's go ahead and add some fuel to this smelter. And now that we have fuel, we can finally melt down some of these appliances. Oh, I love Tinker's Construct. I love how it actually shows you what's being melted down inside of the smelter. Okay, here we go. And as you can see, we finally have ourselves some molten iron. Oh, look at it. It's beautiful. Let's go ahead and pour this out, get some iron blocks. Slowly, it's gonna cool down, and eventually we'll have ourselves 1 block of iron. There it is. And now we have iron ingots. Thank God. We are done living like cavemen. Alright, we'll go ahead and melt down the fridges as well, and eventually we should have at least 1 stack of iron. Take a look at it, friends. Look at all that beautiful iron. I think we've earned this. I definitely think we've earned this. Out with the old, and in with the new. Okay, so we have iron armor. Perfect. We don't really need it, but I just like to have it. Now when it comes to making iron items, there are a few options we have. One of them is to make a walkie-talkie, the second to make a putty knife, and the third to make power tools. Now all of these things sound fine and dandy. I think the first thing I want to make is the power tools. Imagine having a tool with infinite durability. All we'd have to do is recharge it in a tinker's workbench. But first, we're gonna need some redstone. For that, we're gonna have to jump back to chapter 2. That's because I skipped a step. To get redstone, you need fluxtooth spores. Spores aren't that expensive, just takes a small Botania ritual. I'm gonna go ahead and make a composter, because I think we're gonna need bone meal. It costs 1 red petal to make 1 redstone in the petal apothecary, and we only have 2 more red flowers, which gives us 4 petals, so, I mean, that's like 6 redstone altogether. We're gonna need more. So we gotta grow more red flowers. Place a petal right here, then a bone meal. As you can see, we have a tall mystical red flower, and we all know what happens when you bone meal a tall flower. Well, that doesn't work here. I'm clicking the flower, it's not giving me more. On the bright side, we can collect the flower. If we were to use the regular red flower, we'd only get 2 petals. If we use the tall one, we get 4. And it's that simple. You just rinse and repeat. Okay, let's make some spores. Petal, 1 ash, 1 sweet berry, and then a seed. Now we have flux-tooth spores. Now if I wanted to, I could craft them into redstone right now, but that would be a terrible idea. We gotta multiply these spores by any means necessary. And I think we can accomplish that with the fermenter. The only problem is that we have every ingredient to craft one except glue. Thankfully, we can make glue pretty easily. This is the igneous extruder, and it does just that. And to make it, we need an engineering block. Let's begin! The first thing I'm gonna do is craft a basic machine frame. Alone, it doesn't look like much. After all, it's just a frame. But when we take the frame and add a few components, we can upgrade it. Now to get one of the items, we're gonna have to do a little bit of vandalism. Fluorescent tubes, which can only be gathered from ceiling lamps, as far as I know. With the simple throw of a brick, you get all the fluorescent tubes you want. Next, I'll go ahead and add each item to the deployers. The fluorescent tube there, a regular pipe there, and then the electronic components that we made earlier. All you have to do is drop the engineering frame, and like that, they slowly assemble our new block, light engineering block. There's only one more step left to make the igneous extruder. All I have to do is craft a drill head. Now witness the creation of one of my favorite blocks, the igneous extruder. Finally, we have a means of automating actual items. Check this out. Break that cobblestone block, place the extruder. Now you can see that something is taking place here. We are generating cobblestone at a brand new rate. This is amazing, but it's only the beginning. I'm gonna go ahead and make a second igneous extruder. I'll strip the wall here of its wallpaper, and now we're producing glue. 2 items, 1 old and 1 new, both fully automated, thanks to our friend the igneous extruder. This time around, I'm gonna go ahead and try to stay organized, so I'm gonna add labels. Perfect. Alright, let's go ahead and craft our keg, and now that we have these beauties, let's go ahead and multiply our flux-tooth spores. Alright, we'll add a couple of campfires, because I think the kegs have to be kept warm. Oh no, that's hot. How do we find that middle ground? I'm gonna go ahead and break this. I read that if you place the heat source a little further, that you can get them warm instead of hot. We want them warm. Alright, let's try 1 block away. There it is, that's perfect. Alright, so if we add the spore, will it go a little faster? We're gonna continue letting these spores ferment here, and now let's craft our redstone. And now that we have the redstone, we can finally make our power tools. First, I'm gonna go ahead and craft the Tinker's Workbench, and for that we're gonna have to melt down this recycling bin. Okay, so we're melting down this trash can. That's because it converts to aluminum. Oh, look at it. Aluminum. We got about 5 ingots worth of the stuff. It's not quite enough, so we're gonna have to go get more. All we have to do is find a cooler, which I've seen plenty of, although at the time I didn't collect them because I didn't know what they were used for. Alright, we'll go and explore this way. I've never been up here before because I can't seem to find any coolers. Thank God we found one. And here is cooler number 2, and you'll never guess where I found it. Here down at the beach, where the sun is still brightly shining. Okay, now we have at least 1 block worth of aluminum. We're gonna take the block and convert it into ingots, and then from ingots into wires. And now we have aluminum wire. With it, we're gonna craft some redstone wire, and then lastly, a redstone flux coil. But for this recipe, we're gonna need some gold. Thank God we have a means of getting that too. All we have to do is melt down some circuit breakers, and as you can see, we have an abundance of gold. 5 blocks to be exact. Let's go ahead and take this gold out, put it to work. With the gold, we're gonna go ahead and craft our flux coils, and now we can craft our workbench. So we have a Tinker's Workbench, and as you can see, it has no power. Thankfully, when it comes to energy, we have a means of generating it. This is an alternator, and it generates power by rotating. I'm gonna go ahead and craft a coil block, and now we're gonna go ahead and craft the alternator. Very simple looking block. We have to rotate this part right here, and that should generate the power that we need. Just go ahead and place it right there. And as you can see, it is generating power. Now to connect the power, we have to craft flux ducts. They're basically less convenient electrical wires. To make them, we're gonna need some lead, which we can only get from melting down radioactive waste barrels. Do not try this at home. I'm gonna go ahead and make myself a gold cast. That way we don't have to pour metals by the block. We have 1 lead ingot, 1 glass block, 6 redstone dust, and 2 ingots later, you have yourself some flux ducts. And as a reward for crafting them, more of these extremely cool lights. Let's go ahead and hang these up. These ones aren't as nice as the other ones. Also got some blue ones. They're just as ugly as the green ones. Well, they're not ugly, but they're not as nice, you know? Meh, good enough. Okay, so usually, since we don't have that many flux ducts, I'm just going to, for the sake of example, place one here, connect it to the crafting table that we have, and as you can see, it is slowly filling with power, and it will continue to do so long as the engine keeps running and the alternator right there keeps spinning. Now, I would like to add that the faster it spins, the more power it generates, so keeping that concept in mind, let's get it to spin a little faster. Go ahead and disconnect that, break this. We'll want to break this as well. I hope it keeps its power stored. Okay, right here is good enough. 1 cogwheel there. We'll add the alternator. Ooh, that is spinning really fast. And with the flux ducts, we will connect our workbench. As you can see, it is filling up at a much faster rate now. Of course, all of this, once again, is contingent on the fact that we keep this burning. We're going to have to address this little bottleneck eventually. Alright, now that we have an operational Tinker's workbench, we can finally craft our power tools. Judging by the saw blade, I think you can guess which one we're making first. A flux coil, the saw blades, 2 iron ingots, and of course, some electrical components. We now have a flux saw, although it doesn't have any power. Not a problem. All we have to do is go ahead, place it in the Tinker's workbench, and now it's fully charged. Let's go ahead and put it to the test. A simple, unassuming oak plank, and now it's broken. Worst ka charm. And because of that, we no longer need to clog our inventory with this nasty axe. But we're not done yet. With a nearly identical crafting recipe, we're going to craft the flux spore, our replacement for the pickaxe. Although now that we don't have a cobblestone generator, I'm not sure what we'd use this for. Despite that, let's put it to the test. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty happy with it. And as a reward, we get 3 radial enhancements. I guess these are upgrades for our tools. So we're going to switch the Tinker's workbench to augment mode, add a tool, and now we add the augment. So we have the augment applied to the flux spore. All we have to do is change modes from single block to 3x3. This is a very useful tool, although if we were anywhere else, it would be extremely useful. It's just that given the fact that we're in the back rooms, there's not that much to mine. Okay, so we understand that this is a very important piece of our entire setup, the steam engine. And without fuel, it's basically useless. So we have to automate fuel. Specifically, we have to automate charcoal. Thankfully, when it comes to that task, we are right on track. As you can see, the first step is creating glue, which as you can see right here is already well taken care of. This means we can move on to the second step of creating bamboo. The recipe is pretty simple, plus it includes glue, which is why we had to make it. Of course, it does require that we take a little detour to make this one ingredient, the rune of the earth. Alright, let's start Botania. The first step we have to accomplish is making a mana pool. Not just that, but a couple other items as well. Just like with the planks, we're going to take the stone, place it around the flower, and eventually they will convert into an item called living stone. Alright, now let's put this drill to the test. Haha, look at that. Works like a charm. Next, I'm going to go ahead and make mana spreaders. We just need 2 more petals. And lastly, endo flames, which are going to fuel the mana spreaders to generate mana. 2 brown petals, a red petal, a gray petal, and some seeds. Okay, let's set this up. Put a mana spreader here, a mana spreader there, our mana pool right here. Set up the sponges here for the flowers. Next, I'll put a pressure plate right here with an open crate, some redstone, a block. The last thing I have to do is craft a wand of the forest. With the wand, we can toggle each item and bind them together. Thinking I'm going to move these mana spreaders over here on each side. And now we linked them to the mana pool. As you can see, they are not generating a single drop of mana. That's because these endo flames need something to burn, like that wood block I just broke. So you can see the coal has dropped. The mana flowers here, the endo flames, they are accepting it. You can tell because they have that little flame particle between their petals. And now we are generating mana. Thanks to the Wand of the Forest, we can watch how much mana is being generated into the mana pool. As you can see, we have a very small amount. But if you allow both of these to continuously run, you'll have mana in no time. The last 32 ingots, we're going to put them to good use by turning this ingot into mana steel. With the mana steel, we're going to combine it with the extra stone that we have to make a runic altar. This is what we're going to use to craft the item that we need, the Rune of the Earth. The only thing we're missing to make the Rune of the Earth are mushrooms. A red petal, bone meal, mana powder, and of course ash. With that we have 1 red mushroom. Okay, let's make this Rune of the Earth. We're going to add the mushroom, coal block, mana powder, a stone block, the mana steel. As you can see, we have the rune right there, but it's not crafting yet. That's because we need to infuse this table with mana. And so we're going to take this mana spreader, place it above the runic altar, bind it with the table. As you can see, the mana is being infused into the altar, as indicated by the symbol being filled with green. And now all we have to do is add some living rock and click the table. With that, we have our Rune of the Earth. On a little side note, because we completed this task, we get a cool monocle. Oh my goodness. Look at me. I look like a scholar. Looks like we can also wear our create goggles on top of that, although they don't show on your face. I guess the monocle's a tool to help us see the range of these endo flames. So now that we have this Rune of the Earth, we can finally go back to our original task. We were gonna make bamboo. Alright, we have everything we need to make the bamboo. Here we go. Let's make some bamboo. A sugarcane, glue, 1 living wood twig, 2 mystical lime petals. With that, all we have to do is drop a seed in. Ladies and gentlemen, we have bamboo. Now that we have the bamboo, we're 1 step closer to automating charcoal. Now, I'm going to assume that the process for growing bamboo is identical to growing everything else in this pack with the wet carpet. I think we're going to plant it here because this is where the ceiling is almost at its highest, so we want our bamboo to grow as tall as possible. And now, we wait. While we're waiting for the bamboo to grow, let's go ahead and automate this, because honestly, I'm getting sick and tired of having to refill it with water every single time I want to make more spores. Now, before I go too far with my idea, I first have to confirm one thing. I gotta see that these blocks are create mod compatible, otherwise this is gonna be a huge waste of time. This right here, this is a funnel, and it allows items to come out of chests, and hopefully kegs as well. Let's change the direction, and it works. Looks like we're in business. Let's see if we can actually deposit the items from the top. Okay, so far so good. And they collected here in the input slot. Perfect. Okay, this qualifies as a create mod compatible block. The design I'm going to do is going to be very simple, so we're going to have to make more ash alloy for this. But instead of making the 1 in the alloy kiln, we're going to combine the cobblestone with the ash in a mixer to make 2. At least I think that's 2. Maybe it's 4? I'm going to have to burn a lot of boxes. So this is a brand new tool known as the mixer. You can see it's got a whisk attached to the main base of the machine here. All we gotta do is toss the ash inside along with the cobblestone. Let's see how much ash alloy we get. Oh, it does make 2 at a time. Not bad. While that's mixing, as you can see, our bamboo has made some considerable progress. I won't deny I went AFK for a little bit, but a man's gotta eat dinner. Okay, the ash alloy is just about done. As you can see, we have plenty of ash alloy now. Let's make this loop. I'm gonna go ahead and craft a couple of these chutes. And now let's go ahead and dismantle this. Okay, here's what I got so far. We have the keg here. Hopefully the items will go in through here. They'll be brewed into more of these spores, then they'll come out, cycle through, and then go back in again where they'll be brewed into even more spores. We're about to find out if this works. Okay, here we go. Put this in. And it went into the wrong slot. Uh-oh. Okay, I think this will work. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the create mod, but I'm not a create mod minimalist. Sometimes I tend to overcomplicate designs, and this may be one of those situations. Anyways, here we go. We have our flex-tooth spores. Let's throw them onto the belt and see where they end up. Perfect, they are just where we want them. Okay, so the spores are brewing. If we're lucky, when they finish brewing, they'll come out of here, circle around, and finally end up back in the first funnel. Any day now. Oh, there they go. Perfect. Now all we have to do is continuously pump water in here and we're set. Just go ahead and connect these pipes like this. Add a cog to a pipe to make another pump. Oh, there was a nice steady flow of water. But will the keg accept it? Yes, it will. And like that, we have fully automated the keg, which means we fully automated redstone. The setup's probably not the prettiest, but it gets the job done. One thing I discovered is that you could craft something called a heating cask. I'm guessing the heating cask is what we can put under our keg so that we don't have to use the campfire anymore. Let's give it a try. We'll break that campfire. As you can see, the keg has come to a standstill because it's normal temperature. But if we add the heating cask, perfect temperature. Look at that. Now, as it turns out, redstone's not the only thing we can automate. We also have the option to automate glowstone, as well as slitake spores, which can be heated into slime balls. But there's one item that's caught my attention. Boom shroom spores. Just what we need to craft gunpowder. Just in time too, because we're going to be making a musket. The recipe's very simple. All we need is gunpowder, ash, one mystical gray petal, and, like always, seeds. And now we have our boom shroom spores. They're going to share the same belt, but we don't want our redstone items to go into our gunpowder barrel. I added a smart chute, which is like a regular chute, but with this one you can add a filter, which means when the items pass through the belt, only the boom shroom will go in. To upgrade a basic smart chute, you first have to take a gold ingot and press it down into gold sheets. Take the gold sheets, put them in the hands of a deployer, then you add your chute to the depot. And with that, it just pops it off with gold on top. Go ahead and add the smart chute to the top of the keg. We'll apply the filter by clicking on the smart chute with the item we want. And it's as simple as that. Now it will only take these little redstone spores. And like that, not only have we automated redstone, we've automated gunpowder. Now that we have the smart chutes, the items will go in and out into their respective kegs. Well, it looks like our bamboo took quite a liking to the backrooms. That's kind of surprising. Do you know what this means? It means we're gonna have to make glue, which in turn means we have to make slime. It also means I'm gonna have to break this smeltery and use it somewhere else. Why am I using a pickaxe? I have a flux spore. Let's go ahead and make some slime. Lime petal, carpet dust, sugar, and some seeds. With that, we have slitake spores. When you cook the spore in the furnace, you get a slime ball. Once you have a couple of these, combine them with an iron sheet and an iron nugget, and you get glue. Now, why do we need glue? We're going to create a multi-block contraption that's going to cut down and harvest this bamboo for us. And to put it together, we got to glue it. Alright, the first thing I got to do is cut down a lot of this bamboo. Mission accomplished. We'll go ahead and store the bamboo in my backpack for now. Next, we're going to use the last of our iron to make a saw blade. 2 saw blades, actually. You know what? I think I'm gonna need 3, and I have 1 more fridge to melt down, so I'm gonna rebuild the smeltery. We'll go ahead and put it here. Oh, I hope it's enough iron. This is our last fridge. Okay, we have saw blades number 3 and 4. Perfect. With this, we're gonna create mechanical saws, just the tools we need to chop down our bamboo. Next, we'll craft a block called a linear chassis, and finally, a turntable, which we'll combine with another alloy casing to make ourselves a mechanical bearing. Okay, here is where things get a little technical. So we're going to put a gearbox here. On top of the gearbox, the mechanical bearing. And this is going to be the center of our official bamboo farm. With the chassis, we're going to attach them to the top of the mechanical bearing. We're going to put glue on the sides of the chassis. Then I'm going to attach the saw. From there, I'm going to place sand, that way the bamboo can grow on it. It can also be dirt, but I don't have dirt, just sand, so yeah, we're going to use that. Also, if it wasn't obvious, I'm making this design up off the top of my head based off of other machines I've made in the past, so bear with me. If you wanted a proper Create Mod tutorial, I am not your guy. Okay, so this is where things get fun. We're going to take the shafts, we're going to bring them out and connect them to the rotational power. Now, if I did this right, this is going to rotate in a circle. Here we go. Oh, that's a lot faster than I thought it'd be. Okay, let's slow things down a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and add a chest. This is gonna hold all of our bamboo that the machine chops down. Next, we need a new block called a portable storage interface. As a matter of fact, we need 2. This block is gonna be the bridge between our machine and the rest of the setup. And then if all goes well, the bamboo will come out from this end, down the chute, and into this chest. Okay, let's plant some bamboo. Guys, I really hope this works the first try. It's rare that it does, but I feel like it will this time around. I almost forgot. Do not forget to glue the chest and the portable storage interface to the rest of the machine. Okay, as you can see, we have some bamboo growing. Let's see if it actually works. Oh, it's working. Look at the bamboo coming out. Oh, I think we did something good. I think we did something great, actually. Ladies and gentlemen, we just automated bamboo harvesting. You'd probably make this better by making it multi-tiered. I think it's better than making the arm longer, at least. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. This thing is 3 tiers. I really hope it doesn't put too much strain on the engine down there. Maybe pushing it a little with this one. In an unsurprising turn of events, I am out of iron, which means I can't make any more sauce. It's time to go on another expedition, but this time we're going to go in a different direction. Hopefully there are plenty of fridges and microwaves and stoves and anything else that could give us iron. Here we go, Uncharted territory. Well, look at that. Isn't that... They did me dirty with that one. Look how perfectly set up it is to be bait. Right in the middle of the room. What the... Banana stalks. Do they grow bananas? Yes, they do grow bananas. Okay, new food discovered. When you eat a banana, it gives you agility. So what does that mean? It means I can climb walls is what that means. And it's the classic Backrooms room. This is gonna get me lost real easy. I do want to search every nook and cranny though for every item we can melt down. This is different. Okay, we actually have a fake sky. And some sky wallpaper, albeit very depressing. Those are not normal walls. Okay, how are we going to get across? I guess this is where the bananas are going to have to come into play. First time ever coming down here. Okay, this is new. Just discovered what looks like some offices? Yeah, these are cubicles. Coordinates. There are actually coordinates in the back rooms. Oh, I don't like that. What is that? Oh, it's just a frog. I don't know why that freaked me out. Oh, this is nice. One cubicle with personality. Somebody's birthday party. I wonder where all the guests are. How much you want to bet around that corner there's a plate room? Yep. No way. That's the same plate room from earlier because we just circled back. How in the world? Oh, that's insane. That's throwing me off. Alright, we're going back. How did we come full circle? I swear we've been like miles away from the base. Still not enough iron. There's gotta be stuff we can burn here. Is that a sniffer egg? What a find. Oh, you're coming home with us. Well, we didn't find all that much iron, but we did find something else. We found friendship. We're gonna wait for this little guy to hatch, and then we won't be so lonely. Hopefully, by the time we come back from our final iron run, he'll be hatched. This is the darkest room I've seen. Oh, this creeps me out. Oh my god, this is like ultra creepy with no lights. I don't like it. Wow, this darkness goes on forever. Oh my god. I don't know why that bothers me. Like, am I sensitive? I must be sensitive, because usually little things like this don't bother me, but just, god, it's so unsettling. Guys, I think this is the spawn room. Tell me if this looks familiar to you, okay? Does that ring a bell? Or how about the room next over? I don't know how we did it. What is going on here? And what is that material? Some type of blackstone. Hold on, we gotta get a closer look. That may be important. Oh, it's skystone. Applied energistics. Yeah, it's the meteor where you find those, those components for the storage. I think it's great that we actually found this. This is probably very important. Oh my god, we actually got the presses. I'm beginning to notice that the further I explore, the more elaborate these rooms are becoming. I'm seeing generations I've never seen before, and they're not as linear. Like, this room is just all over the place. This room has got to be bait. Oh my god, what is this? That's a fake floor. I can tell by the way the light passes through it. Yeah, that's a fake floor. Okay, this is by far the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. I think this merits a photo. There we go. Oh, it feels so good to be back. Back to the mess and the clutter, and, well, it just feels like home. And is that what I think it is? Oh my god. He's alive! Hello, little friend. Look at you. Our first Backrooms buddy. Okay, let's finish this once and for all. Okay, here is the final product for the bamboo farm. 3 tiers of bamboo. As you can see, each tier has its own chest. Let's just get a little zoom in there. There's one right there. And then another chest right there. And they're all connected because this is all one machine. As you can see, it is emptying all of its bamboo into this chest right here. Now, it's a little slow because this block right here, this ash alloy, it only lets you pass 1 item through it at a time. Resolve that later when we have the right materials, but for now, look at all that bamboo. The next step is to take all the bamboo and convert it into a block of bamboo. Then it's gonna go up and into this basin right there. I'm gonna add a filter for the bamboo block and a second one down here. That way only the blocks pass through and not the regular bamboo. And then to tie it up all nicely, once the bamboo block comes out of this funnel right here, it's going to enter this next belt, which will feed directly into the barrel where we store our fuel. This guy just discovered a beetroot when I was on my way to go get some trapdoors. Thank you very much, Mr. Sniffer, and it looks like you've taken a liking to the backrooms given your size. I need to get through, so you're going to have to move. Just let me... Thank you. Perfect. So, this is what's going to happen. The bamboo block is going to come out from that chute, and it's going to be blocked right here, where the lava is going to cook it up, and once it converts into charcoal, it will then be accepted, pass through this chute, go into this barrel, where we can supply our burner here. I think it's time we give this a little test ride. It's one last component here. And that is just what we want. You can see the fire is blowing outwards. Perfect. It is getting a little tricky to navigate through here now. Oh my god! I didn't even know that was connected. Oh. Yeah, the saws will hurt you. Alright, here we go. Alright, bamboo's coming out, bamboo's coming out, bamboo's coming out. This thing is going to press it down. It comes out as a bamboo block. It's getting cooked by the fire. The fire is going to convert it into charcoal. And... it became coal, and now it went into the barrel. Oh my god, we automated fuel. Let's give ourselves a little pat on the back. We just made a charcoal machine. The only thing we have to do now is to get it to auto-input into the basic burner, but I think with the simple hopper, we can solve that problem. Now, I'm sure there are many more ways to actually, make this a little more compact. But like I said, I am not a create mod minimalist. This is what my brain came up with, and I forged it into reality. So, if you want a better design, this video is not for you. Now, the only downside of this is that I'm not sure if the bamboo can grow as fast as the charcoal burns. Now, we could resolve that problem if we convert the charcoal into coke coal. I know for a fact that coke coal has a significantly longer burn time than charcoal, so somehow we would have to incorporate the coke oven into that already packed design. Well, there's only one way I can think of making this work. And of course, we're gonna have to take this apart as well. Whoa, what was that? That was a weird visual bug. Shoot, I think one of the blocks fell in there. And we'll just plop it here. Bloop. There we go. Okay, the charcoal will enter from this end, and just to make sure that the items will actually go in. Perfect! After the conversion, the coke coal will come out from this end right here. I'll go ahead and set this to output mode. Finally, its final destination, the basic burner. Attach a funnel right here. Let's throw one piece of coke coal as an example. And it went inside the basic burner. I think this is the design, folks. I think we may be set. Here we got charcoal being converted into coke coal. Perfect. Look at the fuel amount going up. I think we just automated it. All we have to do is get the creosote oil to be drained regularly, otherwise this thing is going to fill up quickly. Okay, we'll have the pipe take out all of the creosote oil, and it'll be stored in that tank over there. I think we're going to start getting to a point where our FPS starts dropping. And there it goes, the creosote oil. Oh no! Oh, there we go. Perfect. Ooh, that is filling up fast, actually. This may not be a permanent solution. We can probably stall it by adding a few more tanks to the equation. There we go. That should buy us a little time. As you can see in the basic burner, we are almost up to a full stack of coca-cola. I just realized it's called coal coke. I've been saying coal this whole time across multiple videos. Nobody said anything. Well, with that, our machines are going to run continuously for basically forever. So with that, we've completed the charcoal section. Now, if you look at our progress tree, you can probably tell that it's a little uneven. We have severely neglected the left side, but not anymore. One of our first tasks is actually a fun one. Let's make a musket. The crafting recipe for the musket is as simple as it gets. 2 iron ingots, a nugget, of course our flint, and some wood. And here it is. A relatively simple weapon. Unarmed, of course. When you use the weapon without firing, and you actually click to punch, you hit them with the back of the rifle. That's so funny. But what's a musket without a little ammunition? With some lead, gunpowder, and paper, you get a paper cartridge. We're gonna need some gunpowder, so I'm gonna collect half of these boomshroom spores, and now we're gonna reap the rewards for our automation. All you have to do is take the spores, cook them in a furnace, and you get gunpowder. Our paper right here, we'll add some lead, and of course, the gunpowder, giving us 8 paper cartridges. We have our musket. How do we actually load this? Let's go find something to test it on. I want to find enemies fairly quickly, but I'm not going to fight the spiders over there. So instead, we're going to see if we can gain access to these lower levels, and hopefully we'll find some skulk enemies. Alright folks, we made it to the ground level. I think this is the lowest we've ever been so far. We're going to collect this because I'm pretty sure we can melt down jukeboxes and get diamonds. Don't be bothered by the fact I broke a jukebox with a pickaxe. I'm walking, and it doesn't look like this room at the bottom has any exits. Let's try the second floor. Aw, don't tell me it's like this for all of them. Well, that's a cheap trick. None of these floors actually have exits. Oh my goodness, this is a new room. Alright, there's not a lot going on here. Oh, this padded room is actually smaller. But what about up here? Not a dead end. Really? Just how are we supposed to reach that? That's obviously a troll. Hold on, what is that? There's resources up there, but I hear the spiders. This musket is not for spiders. We'll go around that real quick. I want to know what that material is. That looks like... It looks like silver. Oh my god. No way. This is the largest room I have ever seen. And it continues over here. We could put so many factories here. Think of all the machines we could fit in this space, and it goes so far that it's not even loading. My render distance won't keep up with it. Right now, there is no end in sight. I am so tempted to relocate here. I could start a forest down here of bamboo. Oh, that would be so great. Okay, I think we're going a little too far. Oh. Okay, we just entered another realm. This is definitely a first. Oh, no way, you can actually use it? Okay, here we go. Test subjects. Perfect volunteers for the musket. That was a lot stronger than I thought it'd be. Of course, the reload time is abysmally slow, but when you have a setup like this, it doesn't really matter. One thing we're gonna have to do is collect a ton of bones for the next step, so this is actually working in my favor. We are definitely coming back here. So as we all know, the musket worked like a charm. Killed plenty of husks and collected all of these bones. But now we have business to take care of. Magic business. We need to make a brazier. With this item, we'll be able to perform rituals like summoning things. But first we have to craft a pewter ingot, which is a combination of iron and lead. I'm gonna need more iron. Plus, we're gonna need more lava. As you can see, the fuel tank is dangerously low, which means if we run out, we can't melt any more metals. To make lava, I'm gonna try a new technique that's recommended by the guide. We're gonna place cobblestone into the hands of the deployer, throw on a bucket, and now the deployer is gonna continuously fill the bucket with 10 blocks of cobblestone. What we're left with is an item called a bucket of cobblestone. Brilliantly named. And from there, all we have to do is throw it into a furnace, and the charcoal should melt down into that lava we all know and love. And essentially, we just rinse and repeat. Alright, we're gonna do an even ratio of 4 and 4. I'll go ahead and add the fuel, and now all we have to do is wait. Alright, we have 3 pewter ingots. Go ahead and craft the brazier, which has a coal block in the middle, 3 pewter on top, and of course, 2 sticks on the bottom. what we're left with is a simple brazier. Now we have to craft 4 stone hands, which I'm assuming we're going to use to surround the brazier with. 2 stone blocks, 3 slabs. And I assume we just place the hands like this, although I could be wrong. Thankfully, we have some rewards, some of which may explain what to do. The first thing I'm doing is taking this warlock's hat and putting it on. Oh my god. This is the best thing ever. This right here, of all the pieces, it ties the whole look together. We have the monocle, we have the hat. Looking at the values of the warlock's hat, it even provides more armor than that of the base iron helmet. On top of that, we have 2 different types of books. This one is known as Ars Ecclesia, while the other is a simple book known as Summoning 101. Now, I'm not entirely sure how relevant Ars Ecclesia is because it's showing me images of enemies that I'm pretty sure don't spawn in the backrooms. Although it does give me a list of potential items that I can craft. And before we get into any of the rituals and stuff, the first thing I'm going to do is craft some of the baubles. They're pretty basic, so why not make them? This basic belt, it adds 1 armor toughness. We're going to want all the protection we need if we're going to be messing with monsters. There's another bauble I want to make, but for that we're going to need a new material. This item is called a soul shard, and to get it we have to do a crystallization ritual. To perform the ritual we're going to have to place our brazier right here along with our stone hands. There they are, right on time. There we go, perfect. We have them right where we want them. So if I understood this correctly, all we have to do is put some bone meal in the brazier, 2 pieces of redstone, and then we set it on fire? Something is definitely taking place here. Oh my god, look at that! And now, perfect. This is just what we wanted. We have our soul shards. I guess we rinse and repeat. One thing I discovered about these things is that if you want to lure all of them, you have to punch one of them. And then they all follow. Okay, as you can see I have 3 stacks and some change. Look at that, he discovered a potato! We have potatoes now. Now that we have the soul shards, we can actually do some summoning. And one of the first things we're going to summon is a cod. So according to this, summoning a cod is pretty simple. All we have to do is place the bowl of water in there, some bone meal, and finally a single piece of charcoal. And somehow, this is going to summon a cod. Don't really see the correlation to these items summoning a fish aside from the bowl of water, but hey, that's magic for you. Here we go, where's our cod? Look at that. We just summoned a fish in the backrooms, and now he's going to be dinner. I think this is actually our first piece of protein throughout our entire life in the backrooms. Thank God we don't have to eat berries anymore. So we summoned the cod, and as a reward we were given fish stew, along with a pufferfish plushie. Look at this little guy. We're going to put him right next to the iron golem, right above the water. We're going to take this magic a step further. The time has finally come to craft a new item called a crucible. To craft the crucible, we'll need 6 pewter ingots plus a rune of water. So that's why we had to summon the cod. Mana steel, mana powder, cod, bowl of water, sugar cane, combine it with some stone, and now all we have to do is wait. Click! And now we have a rune of water. Let's go ahead and craft the crucible. Alright, so we have this new item. Looks pretty simple, but soon there's going to be a lot going on here. Now before we get into the intricacies of the crucible, I think we have to do a little bit of organizing around here. As you can see, things are a little, how should I put it, cluttered. I'm going to go ahead and make some additions to this place because as you can see, I don't think we've truly optimized the space in ways I'd like. Plus, maybe we can make this place look a little less backroomsy. Since we're limited on wood, we're just going to use a lot of stone. Okay, so far I have something simple. Just another platform so we have more surface area to make more stuff. It's not much yet, but it has potential. Put the brazier right here, put the cauldron right there, and the reason I went with stone bricks is because number 1, I'm limited with materials, and number 2, we got some like magical wizard vibes going on with this mod, so I thought this was appropriate. And I guess we can brighten this place up with a few paintings. Now that we have our new setup, let's go ahead and make some items. The first thing we're going to tackle is a new recipe. One that's going to help us figure out how the crucible works. This is called time in a bottle, and to make it, we're going to have to create sulfur. The first step we have to do is make enchanted ash. The recipe's pretty simple. All we have to do is burn some bones in a furnace. There we go, enchanted ash. Okay, so for the crucible, first you have to add water, obviously. Then you have to wait for the water to come to a boil. Next, specifically pertaining to sulfur, you have to add the items in this order: charcoal and the ash. There we go. Perfect. We got ourselves some sulfur. So all we have to do is take the glass bottle, put some sulfur inside, and with that we have time in a bottle. I guess all we have to do is have it in our inventory and it will slowly store time. Then when we want the time to be used, all we have to do is click a block like, let's say, a furnace, and I guess the furnace will smelt faster for 20 seconds, 21 seconds, however much time we have accumulated in this bottle. So we're going to go ahead and put that to the test. So this is a regular furnace's speed. Note how fast it's smelting based off of this arrow right here. Once that bone is done, we'll click it with the time in a bottle. Judging by the 2x right there, I think it's moving twice as fast. If we can make it even 4 times as fast. Wait a minute. And as you can see, the bottle reset because there were like 20 seconds in here. So we'll just store as much time as we can and we'll get around to it later. The next thing we want to produce is lapis. To make lapis, we're going to first have to apply sulfur, then step 2, blue dye, and then we stir it twice. For the next step, we're going to have to break out the old flower pouch because we need blue dye, which we can get from these mystical blue flowers. We'll convert all of these into blue petals, plant them down, and you know the drill, bone meal them to get the big ones. And now that we have the petals, let's make them into dye. And now for the first 2-step crucible crafting recipe. We let it boil, add the sulfur, add the blue dye, mix it once, mix it again. Now, lapis? Oh my god, why isn't this working? I read something and people are saying to stir before the water changes color. So we'll have to do that. That's step 1 complete. Step 2. There we go. That's what it was. Okay, yeah, we were letting the blue dye soak for too long. At least we have lapis now. Okay, I think we mastered the basics of the crucible, which means we can move down to craft our next item. This one is called a soulfire wand. And to craft this wand, we have to create a brand new workbench. A magic workbench, which is comprised of a couple of ingredients like a pewter inlay, along with polished wood planks. Look at that. Guess we gotta use the crucible again. Okay, here we go. Let's try this out. We'll toss in the planks, then the ash, and the shard. Does that look right? No. Thank you. Oh my god. Okay, we got the planks. Let's go ahead and craft the pewter inlay. Perfect. And now we'll combine the items together. 3-cut carpet, the wood, and then the inlay on top. The result is a fancy looking crafting table. Go ahead and place that here. That is a fancy looking crafting table. Oh my gosh. All right, folks, we have to craft a soulfire wand. Some of these ingredients we have, some of them we don't. First, what I'm looking at is the arcane gold. 2 redstone, a shard, and 2 gold ingots. It's also going to craft us a gold inlay, which we also need for the wand, plus a basic ring, one of the baubles I've been wanting to put together. So let's go ahead and make some fancy gold. Given that the stakes are a little higher, we're going to have to follow this recipe to a T because, well, the ingredients are very expensive. 2 redstone and a shard, and then 2 gold ingots. Thank God we got it first try. Arcane gold. Let's go ahead and craft my bauble. This is the basic ring, and with it we get a little more armor toughness. Check it out. Our little bauble collection is growing. You could toggle the invisibility? I didn't even know that. Next, we're going to make the second bauble. This one is a necklace, and once again, more armor toughness. This is the basic amulet. And then the last thing we have to make with the arcane gold is, of course, the gold inlay. With those 2 items crafted, it's time to make another new item. This one is an updated version of the soul shard. This is a soul gem, and to get it, we have to use the crucible again. Thank God we got it. Okay, good job, everyone. Okay, we put the inlay at the bottom, we put the arcane gold on the side, and then the gem on top. And with that, we have a soulfire wand. What does this do? Oh! Fires magical sparks. I hope we didn't waste that. But we're not done with the quest yet. We still have to make bricks and nether bricks. Okay, let's go ahead and convert this clay into bricks, and then we'll give it a zap with the soulfire wand, and that should make it into netherrack bricks. Alright, let's give it a try. We got almost 3 stacks of bricks. Hopefully 1 zap is enough to convert all of them. Here we go. Look at that. That was amazing. Now that we have ourselves almost 3 stacks of nether bricks, it's time to make a new piece of equipment. We're going to put together a crude blast furnace. Although we only have half the items to craft the bricks, we still got to make concrete bricks. And for that, we're going to need liquid concrete, which is a combination of sand, gravel, and clay. 2 sand blocks, 1 gravel, and 1 clay. Let's see how much that's going to yield us here. Half a bucket's worth of liquid concrete. Okay, not bad. So we're just going to keep making this stuff, and eventually we'll have our bricks. Now to make the bricks, we're going to have to transfer over this stuff into this basin here where it's going to be pressed. It's as simple as scooping it up and pouring it in. And as you can see, we have multiple concrete bricks. All right, we got our concrete bricks, we have our nether bricks, and there's the recipe. And with this, we have plenty of blast bricks, probably more than we need. You just build it into the shape of a cube, and this is about it. Let's give it a click with our engineer's hammer. There we go. New technology. Now this is a crude blast furnace, it can be upgraded, but we'll get to that later. Now even though we have the blast furnace, we're not done with the step yet. It's time to put it to the test to make this brand new item. We're gonna make hot steel. Thankfully we have almost an hour of stored time. So let's see how quickly this will speed up the process if I just click this. Doesn't seem any speedier. I guess the time in the bottle doesn't work for this. It says it has to be single blocks, and I don't think this counts as a single block. Aside from that, we have our first piece of steel. Well, hot steel. We're gonna have to cool it down. Now in the quest log, I did see a cauldron, so I'm assuming that it's as simple as just taking some water, putting it in the cauldron, and dumping the ingot in. We're about to find out. Hopefully, picking this up won't burn me. Okay, thank God it doesn't. There we go. As you can see, the hot steel is no longer glowing, it's cooled, and now we have regular steel. Now one thing I noticed was that when I was cooling the steel, one of them cracked. It's imperfect now, we have to repair it. The only way to do that is by melting it down again, so there is a chance for your steel to break when cooling it. Looking at the steel rod, there's the description that says don't drop this. Well, now I'm tempted. Now that we're making steel, we can go in one of two directions. Option A, we can allocate the steel to upgrade the blast furnace. Or option B, we can craft a forged eye, the second piece of 12 that we need to escape from the back rooms. Of course, this recipe comes at a very high cost. 100 ingots worth of steel, not to mention 100 buckets worth of beer. When you combine these onto a single cannonball, it will be converted into a forged eye. So we gotta make a lot of beer and a lot of iron. Up until now, most of our iron has come from melting down pieces of scrap metal or appliances. But that's not gonna cut it anymore. If you want to get that eye, then we're gonna have to automate iron. I did a little test to see if you could actually wash gravel and get iron nuggets, and I'm not gonna lie, I watched this for 5 minutes, not a single iron nugget. But we can automate beer. In fact, we already have some of the tools to do it. The only thing we're missing is a special type of plant. One that we're all familiar with. We need wheat. And to get wheat, we're gonna have to get dirt. Thankfully, dirt's not that difficult to create. All we have to do is combine some carpet with some sugar and a fermenter, and somehow that gives us a dirt. Alright, we're gonna have to collect a ton of carpet. The more carpet we have, the more dirt we get. Okay, let's go ahead and save ourselves the trouble of having to route new pipes. We're just gonna put the kegs right here. There we go. Next, we're gonna need a ton of sugarcane for sugar. Now, I was reading that if you actually send a redstone signal to these blocks, that they actually reset and grow again. We're about to find out how true that is. I don't know if it's working. I mean, they all grow at the same time, but I don't know if it's for multiple flips of the lever or if it's just a delayed growth. Alright, we have our machines running. Is this making dirt? Oh, it's making something. 8 minutes. Wow, 8 minutes, okay. A little longer than I wanted to wait. Good thing we have 3 of these going. Okay, it's been 8 minutes, and as you can see, each of these kegs has 8 blocks of dirt. Let's go ahead and collect them. So now that we have dirt, we have to get seeds. And to get seeds, all we have to do is brush the dirt. Oh, got tomato seeds, and hemp seeds, and flax seeds. Wow, that was way more than I thought we'd get. You get wheat seeds by brushing dust. Well, making the dirt wasn't a complete waste because we still gotta grow the stuff. Alright, now we got wheat seeds and beetroot seeds and I think pumpkin seeds. Yeah, we can work with this. This is perfect. Let's go ahead and check on our steel. 44. Nowhere near enough. But it is enough to upgrade our furnace. Alright, we're gonna take the steel and cool it down. We're gonna need about 27 of these. Okay, we have 36 steel ingots and 8 cracked steel. We're gonna break this up. So the reason I did that is because we have to upgrade these blast bricks. But to do that, we first have to take these steel ingots and flatten them into plates. we have 27 steel plates. Let's go ahead and combine them with the blast bricks. Now we have reinforced blast bricks, which we are going to use to reassemble our blast furnace. Alright, the only thing we're missing now is a hopper on top. And there it is, our superior, or I should say improved, blast furnace. Should be able to smelt much quicker than before. It even has room for upgrades. These are called preheaters, and with them, we'll be able to speed up the smelting process. It's as simple as just placing them next to the improved blast furnace. There's one, we'll have to break this, move the sugarcane, and there is the other, facing the wrong way. There we go. But it's not quite ready. We still need power. That's right, these things take energy. Alright, so to give these some power, I have an alternator right here, and these chimneys, they're connected with flux ducts. So, all we have to do is make a connection, and we just overstressed our machine. I don't want to upgrade the setup right now, so I'm just going to do this. Much better. As you can see, the blast furnace, both of them actually, the preheaters, they have power, which means we can go ahead and cook the rest of our iron. It's twice as fast, at least I think. Alright, so now that this is upgraded and producing a lot of smoke, wow, let's see how our dirt is doing. 32, 32, and 32. Wow, we have almost 3 stacks of dirt, which means I think we're good to farm now. We're gonna keep this nice and simple. Obviously, we don't have any room to do farming here, so finally, we're gonna have to expand outside of our little vicinity. We're gonna farm here. Lots of space, plus, well, you could use some green around here. Perfect. I don't think this is completely centered, but it'll do. Now it's time to grow some of the first wheat in the back rooms. Oh my god, I never thought I'd see wheat again. So now that we have wheat, let's go ahead and collect it, and basically I'm going to spend some time multiplying these seeds. This is taking a while. At this rate, we won't have that much wheat unless we want to waste a ton of bone meal. Although there is another way. This is a garden cloche, and it can automatically grow wheat and seeds so long as we give it power. This may be the way to go about it. Let's give it a try. And if it doesn't work, well, there's always plan B. First thing we have to do is craft this special type of workbench, the engineer's crafting table. It's basically a fancier looking crafting table, and it's got some storage on the inside, but this isn't the final product. With the engineer's crafting table, we're going to combine it with a few items to make an engineer's workbench. The next thing we have to do is tap into our blue dye reserves. Plus, we're going to need some paper. We're going to take the dye and the paper and combine it with aluminum, iron, and copper. This gives us an engineer's blueprint. You take the blueprint, you put it inside. As you can see, we have some new crafting recipes. We're going to shoot for the incandescent light bulb. We needed the light bulb because it's one of the crafting items for the garden cloche. I just noticed that the craftable items are actually displayed here on the corner. That's so cool. And it's as simple as that. Some glass, light bulbs, wood. That's about it. What we're left with is this, how should I put it, steampunk looking device. Doesn't that look steampunkish? I'm a little lazy, plus I don't want to have to build more of these things, so let's see if this works. Shame it doesn't. Oh, there we go. I just had to rotate it. So now we have 3 beautiful, fully powered garden cloches. As you can see, our wheat has grown just a little bit, but not in the quantity I'd like. So we're going to just break these down and recollect the seeds to repurpose them. Okay, this may work. I built a little platform, and now we have access to these things. Go ahead and add the dirt and some seeds, and like that we have 2 wheat, which means we're one step closer to automatic beer. We're gonna wait for our wheat to automate down there. While we're waiting for the beer to generate so that we can craft the forged dye, I want to move to the left to craft a new item. This one is called a crystallizer, and judging by the name, you can probably tell what it does. But as you can see, it requires lots of iron, so we're gonna have to go get some. But not just that. Before we head out there, there's one machine I'd like to craft to take with me. And one thing we have to address is the skulk. It turns out that we can actually scrub it and collect echo shards. But for that, we have to craft an item called the skulk scrubber. The first thing we gotta do is melt down some microwaves. When you melt them down, you get molten tin. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and craft this redstone servo. With some glass, redstone, and a lava bucket, we're gonna craft a nullifier. I'm not entirely sure what the nullifier does. What is it nullifying? It's a good thing we don't have to use it because it's just a crafting item. And here are the ingredients for the skulk scrubber. Now we gotta go find a place where there's skulk, and trust me, there is plenty of it everywhere. And now... perfect! We have a skulked Skulk scrubber. Whoa, it's really going at it here. Jeez. How much is it gonna clean? Oh my. Also, there's porous stone. New block, okay. All right, we got this skulked up skulk scrubber. It's filthy, we gotta get the skulk out. To do that, we're gonna have to heat it up in a blast furnace. Okay, as you can see, we have cleaned up our skulk scrubber, nice and clean. Plus, we have some echo shards, or a echo shard. We're gonna take it a step further. Now that we have it, we can craft a new block, this one known as a accumulator. But before we craft that, let's check on our wheat, which seems to be taking a liking to this garden cloche. As of now, we have 12 stacks of wheat. I think we need around 15 or 16 for the amount of beer that we're gonna brew. So we are right on track. And here is the crafting recipe for the accumulator. So we have a new item here. We have our accumulator and an igneous extruder and a bucket of lava. Now, what could we possibly need these three things for? To automate carpet dust. Why else? For some reason, we have to automate carpet dust. I honestly don't see why, but maybe we'll find out later. I believe this setup should work. We are generating dust. Somehow, this lava and this accumulator are making dust, which I guess we can use to automate black dye, or maybe even clay. Now we're gonna take things and move a little to the left. The next thing we have to make is a crystallizer, a tool which I'm assuming grows crystals, you know, given the name. Alright, so with this, we'll be able to make crystals, I guess? But before we get into that, I am going to make some bread. It's been a while since we've had bread. Actually, I don't think we've ever had bread. All you have to do is take the wheat, crush it in the crushing wheels, then you get flour, which I am soaking in water, and it takes a little while, but eventually the flour is going to turn into a dough ball. So we have lots of dough balls. Yeah, one wheat in here is pretty generous. Now usually I'd say cook it in the lava, but if you cook this in lava, well, lava on dough, it's going to incinerate that stuff. You're not going to get bread, but they don't have to burn, at least if you have the right setup. See, like I said, with lava, they'll get incinerated. But with fire, well, with fire, you're golden. They're slowly gonna bake into loaves of bread. And as you can see, there are our first loaves. Ah, another food unlocked. All right, let's take a look at this crystallizer. You're gonna have to forgive how crude this whole system is starting to look, but I'm not trying to move a bunch of pipes and energy stuff all over the place. If I have it here, I'm gonna place it here. So we're getting some power into the crystallizer, and the first item I want to make with it is something called rose quartz. But to do that, we'll need a liquid called redstone acid. And to get redstone acid, we have to combine redstone with water in a mixer. As fate would have it, making a mixer just so happens to be our next task. I'll go ahead and prepare the materials, and I will see you when they're ready. As you can probably tell, this is going to be a while. Okay, update. I have all of the items, plus I had to move the smeltery over here to make some space for our new mixer that's going to go right here. Close to the power, close to its improved blast furnace brother, so now all we have to do is assemble. Alright, doesn't look that bad. I think that's about it. Look at that. Beautiful, we have a brand new machine. Oh, that's so cool. You got a vat and like a stirring device on the inside. All we have to do is supply it with power. The mixer is alive. So the next thing we have to do is make a pump to add water into this. I could use a create mod pump similar to what we have over here, but it's going to be a little too clunky. I have a little bit of iron to spare, so I will make the immersive engineering pump instead. So the crafting recipe for this pump is pretty simple. 3 pipes, 3 iron sheets, and then this iron component right here. Now, the downside is that this pump does require power, but that's okay. A thing we're not used to already. So you can see the pump is alive, now we just have to add some water. I'm pretty sure it's as simple as just adding water underneath. We'll find out right now. Okay, we have water pumping into the machine. This is our fluid pump right here. Took me a longer than it should have to set this up, but we're finally here. I think all we have to do is add the redstone, and as you can see, it is getting mixed up in there. And now we have redstone acid. Just add a ton, and let's see how much we can make. So as you can see down there, we have some redstone acid, and we want to filter this out while retaining the water on the inside. We'll add a regular fluid pipe right here, and then we will add a fluid tank. As you can see, this thing is filling with a ton of redstone acid. Now we can't just scoop this out with a bucket, we need to pump it out somehow. All you have to do is make a copper casing, click it with cured glue, and now you have something called a fluid spout, or just a spout. We're going to take these pipes, pump on the top, and a spout right there. Then we'll make a depot right here, place a bucket, and now with a little bit of elbow grease, we are going to free up this redstone acid, put it into the spout, and then it's going to empty itself into the bucket. Here we go. Take a look, and now we have a bucket of redstone acid. Let's go ahead and pour this, see what this looks like. And it looks like Kool-Aid. And I have a status effect, conductive. So I assume we just pour this in there. As you can see, the redstone acid is inside the crystallizer, which means we can move on to the next step. We're going to take some quartz and grind it up into quartz dust. Then with the dust, you toss it into the crystallizer, and from there, the crystallizer converts it into rose quartz. Now making the rose quartz is just step one. We're going to refine the rose quartz to make an electron tube. The next step to refine the crystal is as simple as it gets. You combine sand with paper to get sandpaper. Put the sandpaper in your offhand, rose quartz in the other, and then you just file away. This is going to yield you polished rose quartz. You're going to get some iron, flatten them into iron sheets, and finally, you combine them with your polished rose quartz to get electron tubes. An important item used in multiple crafting recipes, including a very important one that we're saving for the end. But before we make our way towards the end of the chapter, we have some unfinished business to resolve. As you can see, we have quite the stockpile of wheat and seeds. This is more than enough to automate all the beer in the world. Just what we need to create the infernal eye. But to do that, we're gonna have to upgrade our steam engine. And the first problem is getting rid of this. Just as I predicted, the tank is absolutely full. And when this is full, this gets full, which means we're not producing any more coke coal. We're gonna have to find a permanent solution to get rid of this, and it's simpler than you think. In fact, it's so simple, I have no idea why it didn't occur to me earlier. It's as simple as flicking a lever. All we have to do is make a redstone loop, and I think we should be set. Now, if it wasn't obvious, the idea is that the cobblestone block from the piston is going to void the block here, meaning that this is going to be drained, so long as the fluid that keeps getting pumped through here is avoided by the piston. So here was the solution I had for these sticky pistons. All I had to do was make a simple redstone loop, and if you're a Minecrafter, then you know how redstone loops work. Now, the one aspect that may not be familiar is the pulse repeater. With the pulse repeater, you can set a redstone signal. Every so often, you can adjust the time here. So here I have it set for 40 ticks. Every time it receives a redstone signal, it doesn't actually send the signal until 40 ticks pass. So it's perfect for timed loops. Say you want this piston to move, but you don't want it to move that quickly. You can put a little delay, and that's where the pulse repeater comes in. On top of that, I also upgraded our steam engine. The boiler is now 3 times the size it was before. It wasn't that difficult. All you do is add more fluid tanks. Now, despite it being bigger, it is still a level 1 engine. That's because we have to upgrade the heat source. All we have to do is collect this basic burner and add it to the engine. That's about it. Of course, we will be burning fuel twice as fast, but sometimes sacrifices have to be made. Alright, look at the kinetic stress capacity. 16,000. When I light this fire, 32,000. We've just doubled the engine's stress capacity, which means we can attach way more stuff now without having to worry about overstressing the whole setup. On top of upgrading the engine, I also made some cosmetic upgrades to our farms. I just didn't like the unfinished look, so all I did here was add some columns. And then for the bamboo farm, I just gave it a nice little shell. You know, something that looked like a castle, because like I said, I'm kinda sick of the backrooms look. Anything that takes away from this is an improvement in my eyes. Now, I still have a long ways to go to organizing all of this. I know I said I was going to do that earlier, and well, this is as far as I got. But one step at a time. The time has come to finally create the infernal eye. Unfortunately, we're still lacking lots of the hot steel. As it stands, I only have 7 steel ingots left in my inventory, plus an additional 22 on the way, assuming that they don't crack when I cool them down. So it's time for one last iron expedition. I say last because once we complete this chapter, we will never have to scavenge for iron again. Before I head out, I'm gonna go ahead and craft plenty of chalk. I have a feeling this is gonna be a long expedition. Alright, it's time to commence the next journey into the back rooms. God, I hope we live to come back here. So I was off, trying to find my next source of iron. That and anything else I could get my hands on. Okay, we are in Uncharted territory. This is directly above the office that I was just in, and As you can see, this is unlike anything we've seen so far. No way. There was actually food in the fridge this time. This is all new. Presents? Oh my god, I don't like that painting. Why is that the painting? Oh, that's ugly. This is like an apartment complex or a hotel complex or something. What? Oh my god, we found the boss's room. This is insane. It's an office with a view. Come on, that's pretty cool. After enjoying my promotion, I did what many corporate crashouts have done and demolished my office. It's that stupid chair. That chair that moves and freaks me out. Stuck around a little longer this time. We have sugar cubes. Looks kind of like the applied energistics meteor. And nothing in the middle. Just sugar cubes, and that's it. We are taking the iron wind chimes, though. They give you 3 iron ingots per wind chime. This is the jackpot. Oh my god. I mean, I know we're not looking for this, but this is a jackpot. Wow. A room full of cannonballs. And what is this? Vanilla pod block? Vanilla pods. Okay, yeah, we'll take this. What is that? There's that noise again. It's like a heartbeat. No way. Oh my god, we found it. Do you see what I see? It's right there. And so is he. The end portal is right there. That's our way back. And I hear the warden, but I don't see him. Oh no, there he's right there. Look at that. This was definitely a discovery. Oh, he's sniffing out for us. Yeah, we're just gonna get out of here. That's insane, man. I cannot believe we actually found it. What are the odds? Because I remember hearing it when we were at the beach, but I couldn't pinpoint exactly where it was coming from. This is definitely a different one, though. And this is a new room type. I've never seen stairs like this before. Glad we're finally seeing some slight variation. Speaking of variation, this is completely different. Hold on. I don't want to get too ahead. Let me go collect the stuff over here. Yeah, this is as weird as it's ever gotten before. Okay, we have a whole bathroom set up here and a radio. Does it work? We're about to find out. Oh, I'm also hearing some scary noises on the other side of that wall. Okay, now this room is a little weird. First of all, I'm going to mark this as the way out. We have what looks like a trail and a sliding block. What is a sliding block? Nothing, just a decoration. I don't even know what this is supposed to be. This is fake. Okay, we have to be very careful because I heard enemy noises over there. We'll have to keep the old musket in hand. Oh! Oh my god! He's not following, is he? Can they even move through the walls? I don't think he can. This provides us with an opportunity. Big opportunity. And in the event that he charges, we'll just climb up here. Because I know we can't fit through these, these doorways. He can't go through them. You poor, stupid creature. This thing better drop something good. And there he goes. Just, solidified experience. I'm so scared the warden's gonna see me through the walls. Oh, jeez, he's right there. Yeah, best not to go that way. We're not pushing our luck, not today. We're doing so good. Although I did find a secret. What the? Oh, this sucks. I can't break any of this. There's some stuff in here I gotta check out. Maybe with the water bucket. Yes! There we go. This is obviously someone's little love cave. Judging by the deranged ramblings on the wall, someone had stolen their heart. And it goes on. I love how the further we get, the more spazzed out the backrooms become. I'm gonna have some cake first. All of this just to lead to one of these simple rooms? Oh, this is not a simple room. And another fake out wall. It's that Herobrine channel again. I think it's time we get a closer look. Worst case scenario, something drops on us and we die. I hear spiders though. We can't seem to get back to the Herobrine channel. How inconvenient. Okay, folks, I think it's time to bring it back, but we will return to this portal. That's insane that we found it. Oh my god! Shit. Jeez. Of course I have to mark the way over here. Gotta remember that this is a big deal. We cannot lose this area. What a journey. Wow. Okay, we have a lot of stuff to melt down, so I'll see you when it's done. Alright, we have 21 blocks of iron. If I were to uncraft them all into ingots, that's basically 3 stacks minus 1. We have 22 hot steel, so all we have to do is cook these up, and I think we will have more than enough to finally make our new eye. Okay, I'm pretty sure that is at least 100 ingots worth of steel, if not more. Now that we have the steel, let's make some beer. So first I want to make a simple test batch, just to see how this is going to work. So we have our keg right here. Go ahead and add some water. Then we'll add the wheat and the seeds. Guess that's all there is to it. Alright, here's hoping this works. We'll add the pipes from the back. That way they can be supplied with water. Assuming that the water will reach this far. It seems to stop right about here. We'll just go ahead and extend the pump's reach, simply by adding another pump. Alright, all of these kegs have water. Although it kind of bothers me that these are standing upright and this one is on its side. I'm going to go ahead and add the wheat first. And now the seeds. Perfect. The next thing I'm going to do is make more of these smart fluid pipes, because we are going to have to filter out the beer. Now the question is, what is the proper way to set this up? I don't think I need 6 of these, but just to be safe. So the beer is brewing in here. We're going to set beer filters, so that way that's the only thing that comes out of these pipes. And then this pump is going to put all of the beer in a tank, which I'm probably going to put right here. Although we're going to need to make a lot of fluid tanks. Thank God we got all this copper. Alright, as you can see, some of the first beer has been brewed. I guess we'll have to extract it the old-fashioned way by crafting a tankard. Now we can extract the beer. So now that we have these beers, I think all we have to do is set this to the beer filter, and that should be it. Alright, my friends, it's time for the moment of truth. This better work. And we have beer! No way. I think we're in a good spot. Yeah, it's only taken beer, no water. We're set. Okay, here is where the magic's gonna happen. We're gonna place down a cannonball here, and then in this hand, a deployer is gonna place down the hot steel. Then it's gonna get squirted with beer. Then it's gonna get stomped on. Then we're gonna have to figure out a way to loop it back so that it can do the cycle 99 more times. That's right. It's gotta pass through this whole system 100 times. Alright, this thing is full of beer. Perfect. For this deployer, we'll place a chute above it, and then above the chute, a chest. And this is where we'll place our hot steel. Looks like it worked. Steel is in hand. This is the nice little loop I made. It's very bulky, very clunky, but it's what I came up with, so hopefully this works. Moment of truth. Thank God. We're in business, folks. With this, the cannonball will loop around and be modified so that it can convert into the eye. Alright, 1 cannonball. Now, mind you, we don't have nowhere near enough beer. It's still brewing, slow as it is. But that doesn't mean we can't get started. Okay, let's add the cannonball and see if this works. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. It's only got to pass through 100 more times. We're going to go ahead and let the eye do its own thing. I have no desire to see this thing go in circles over and over and over again. So instead of waiting, let's go ahead and finish this chapter. To wrap things up, we have to create a heavy engineering block, which means we first have to create a heavy engineering frame. 4 steel ingots. Okay, I have 4 steel frames, but as you can see, they're kind of empty. If we're gonna upgrade them, then we need 3 components. We already have the electronic component, plus we already made some electron tubes. The new item we need is called a soul fuse. And to make it, we have to zap an empty fuse with our soul wand. The first thing we need to make the fuse is mana glass, basically just glass dipped in mana. Next we'll combine the mana glass with a gold nugget, and that makes the empty fuse. Alright, so we have the fuses on the depot, I have the soulfire wand in hand, let's give it to the deployer. And with that, we've converted the empty fuses into soul fuses. And here is the setup. So we have the soul fuses here, the electronic components there, and of course our electron tubes at the end. Like always, all you have to do is dump the frames on, and it assembles. And with that, we have an engineering block. This completes the final task of Chapter 3. with a few tasks still incomplete. But that's okay for now. Looks like we have more rewards to claim, like a sniffer plushie and the music disc FAR. One of the things I could do to speed up this process, because it seems to be capped by the amount of beer that we can produce. I have some time in a bottle now, hours worth of stuff in here. I could apply it to the kegs, but if I were to distribute it evenly, it still wouldn't be enough to make it, well, produce as quickly as I'd like it to. Maybe we should have doubled our beer production. Look at this. 8 minutes per keg, people. Remember, it's 8 minutes per keg, and they're all going at the same time, so it's just 8 minutes overall, but still, that's a long time to wait for this eye. See that? You see how it's just held up right here? Now, I'm looking at Chapter 4, and one thing I'm trying to see is if there are any other eyes we're going to have to craft. There's one right here, the old eye. And to make the old eye, we have to spray a clock 100 times with, what is that? The flow of time? To make an eye, we have to spray it with liquid time. And how exactly does one get the flow of time? Oh, look at that. You get it by extracting time from a time in a bottle. And it only gives you 250 millibuckets. Well, at least we don't have to worry about creating the old eye just yet. In fact, the beginning of Chapter 4 focuses on making our lives a little bit easier. And in the next video, one of the main things we're going to focus on is automating these 3 blocks. Viridium, to make renewable copper. Crimsite, which makes renewable iron. And last but not least, Azurine, which makes renewable zinc. With these 3 rocks, we're going to be able to automate some of the most used materials in this pack. And then after that, things are going to get a little more complicated. Despite all that, I know we have what it takes to get there. Well, there's only one last thing left to do. I hope you guys didn't forget about our handy-dandy camera. Before we head out, I want to take one last picture, or maybe a couple, just so we can track our progress here. It's about finding the best angle. And then a selfie. Ooh, I'm on the edge of death here, oh my god. And to top it off, we have to get one of our friend as well. A flattering photo. Perfect. So we have some leftover picture frames. I'm going to go ahead and put these up here. And one more right here. Perfect. We're going to put 3 fantastic photos. But we're going to do something different. If you look at the Lightroom, you will notice that there are different dyes. Well, that's because you can make color photos. Now, we don't have all the dyes, but we do have plenty of flowers. I'm going to go ahead and convert both of these to petals. And of course, we're going to have to use the old bone meal trick. That way we don't actually just run these flowers into extinction. That would be a very great shame. So here on Doublesal, we're all about being environmentally sustainable, whether or not we're on Earth or in the backrooms. We'll go ahead and get some black dye from the carpet dust. For some reason that makes black dye. I don't see the connection, but yeah. And then last but not least, the yellow dye. So as you can see in my hotbar, we have a nice selection of dyes. Let's go ahead and add these in here. Is that not... What color is this? Is that magenta? Oh, we have to make magenta dye. Okay, we have magenta dye. And now we have all the colors and the color spectrum needed to colorize our photos. We'll take the old developed film out, open up our camera. Don't forget that in order to develop film, you have to combine the water bottle with your film. Then you get developed film. Okay, let's see what we're working with. That is the Escalator, I believe. This is obviously the beach. There's the TV and the clouds. We'll get that developed as well. Ooh, this one is the railroad tracks. I forgot about that. It doesn't have color. Oh, I think I know why. Because there's something called color film. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and put that to the test right now. Let's make some color film. And the first photo I want for our color film is our sniffer, because obviously he's the most colorful guy we have here. That is a pretty picture. Oh my goodness, that's going on the wall. Look at that, folks. We finally have colored photos. Well, I think that is the last thing we're going to accomplish today. Well, my friends, I think our time has finally run out. We are at the end of our 100 days, and even though we didn't collect all of the eyes, and can you blame me for not getting them all? I mean, come on, there are 12 of them. I still think we made a lot of progress. Not only did we complete 3 chapters, we also explored countless miles, well, Minecraft miles, in the backrooms. We brought back some much-needed plant life that kept us alive. We made a brand new friend. We created all of these machines, and we have quite the plushie collection to show for it. And even though we encountered some obstacles along the way, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still having fun. There's still so much to do, so much to explore, and many more things to invent. Seriously, Chapter 5 is insane. Look at this. Some of the last things in Chapter 5 involve crafting 3 of the Finalize, so yeah, there was no way we're getting to this today. I mean, come on. As it stands right now, this eye is still being crafted. I guess we'll have to be a little more patient. Well, my friends, that's gonna be it for today's video. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to leave a like and comment what your favorite moment was down below. If we get enough likes and views, then we'll probably do a part 2. It's all up to you. Also, I just launched channel memberships. I'm still adding some stuff to them, but if you're interested in that, feel free to take a look. They will be linked in the description below. You'll get access to stuff like behind the scenes, bonus clips, plus any early footage that I can release. Once again, thank you for tuning in. I hope you hyped this video. Until next time, this has been Doublesal. Have a great day.